Orchid aus San Francisco sitzen neben mir. So guys, how was the show for you?
It was awesome. It was great. It was our first time on a stage outside that was that big. And it's funny, like it takes you like a song to kind of adjust, but it was amazing, and the people were so cool. And really good.
And were you nervous?
A little bit. Maybe not nervous, but just kind of concerned because we're playing on other equipment. We've been on tour for like 3 weeks using the same gear with the same sound man every night, and now it's kind of like the unknown. So, I was a little nervous.
To the fire.
So you had nightmares tonight, not knowing what it would be like?
No. We're too fucking sleep deprived and tired at this point to have any nightmares. We're lucky if we're sleeping.
I read somewhere that I think you like it better to tour in Europe than in the States. Is that right?
Well, yeah, kind of, Europe is all we really know as far as touring. We haven't toured the States, and I just think we're a little more well-known and heavily promoted over here because we've always been on European record labels. So, I don't know, we're just treated really well over here. It's really a special thing to come over here and play for fans that know our music and are just really into it. It's very cool.
Also, too, I think in some weird way, like Europe connects with what we're doing more than our home, or maybe that's just the normal thing is like bands from one place go to another place and kind of prove it and then go home, and then everyone is like, oh, okay, you're okay. It's just like Jimi Hendrix did this, or English bands come to the States. It's just a funny thing,
What is the reason for playing such an, old kind of music? What's the magic about the music you play?
It's funny, people ask that, and I think because there's a lot of music right in this moment that's kind of a reflection of what was, people kind of think it's maybe like a gimmick or something, but I know I speak for all of us. I know that we just feel like it's good music. Like, I don't think any of us set out to be like a retro thing. It's just, if I'm going to do a rock band, and these guys too, if we're all going to play rock music, we're like, what's the best rock music? And it's like from basically 64 to like 78, right? So it's just like, to me, all the good music was from this time when people were inspired, and the right combination of understanding where they were going but being free, and also like understanding melody and groove, and heavy when it needs to be heavy, soft when it needs to be soft. I just feel like it's good music. I don't think about it that way.
And you are coming from San Francisco, from this very legendary scene. So what is the San Francisco scene like today?
Oh, wow. I could have answered every question, but that one.
There's still a lot of the metal bands that have always been around are still active today, like Testament and Exodus and Death Angel, and all the bands that have been around since we were teenagers are still out there doing it. But, as far as a scene, I don't really know that San Francisco is kind of fractured, It really takes a while to build up a reputation and
you gotta work for it.
You really got to work for it at
It's
home.
not like Sweden, where there's this thing attached to Sweden. I think that at one point it was death metal, and now it's kind of like Graveyard, and those bands have like made a thing that people identify with as a Swedish sound. San Francisco, other than what we grew up on with thrash metal, all of us, I don't know if we ever, it was thrash metal, and then before that, I think what Nickel grew up in the 60s.
San Francisco for me is like Jefferson Airplane and the Grateful Dead and Todd Rundgren and Moby Grape and A Beautiful Day, and Janis Joplin, Big Brother and the Holding Company,
even all the
Sons of Champlin.
Yeah, all the English bands came to San Francisco because people understood what they were doing, so for us, that's our history. And then I think also growing up as little kids, like really early Metallica, Exodus, all that stuff is the music that we could hear that was our own, so.
I think there's a bit of pride, coming from San Francisco in a way that, like, hopefully there's such a great history of music from San Francisco, and I think it would be our heart's desire to
further that.
To continue this experience and let San Francisco Bay Area be heard again. Because it's been a long time. Metallica might be the last band that really showed San Francisco as home of great music.
We want to be Metallica and the Jefferson Airplane mixed together,
kinda,
right? I mean, like Kill 'Em All and Crown of Creation. Like, you know, that's what, if there's an Orchid thing, like to me, that's it. Like it's He Who Walks Alone, our song. It's like, that is Santana, Crown of Creation, and fucking For Whom the Bell Tolls or something, you know? Like, that's San Francisco, man.
And Hello Titty. Can you get a shot of that shirt? You know, 'cause
Fucking awesome.
And how important is the occult in your music?
I mean, my first apartment by myself that I lived out for years and years was literally 6 blocks away from the Satanic Church. I grew up in that. For me, the occult thing, I grew up with my mom. Always gave me books about mysticism and other things because I was an artist and into drawing and like the old medieval etchings of like witchcraft and all this stuff. So I mean, that's deep in me, and the curiosity about it. I don't know that any of us like light candles and sit around in a circle and fucking pray or anything like this kind of shit. To me, it's more of a, well, he does. Yeah, he did. He actually did. But for me, me personally, and I think the general consensus of our band is it's a statement about personal freedom. And Christianity is the most successful cult in history, and it basically brainwashed everybody, you know. And I don't think of Satanism is a Hollywood cheap word for paganism, and paganism was the worship of the earth and the seasons and life, and you know, I think, yeah, for us it's about like loving what we can feel and see, and not loving what someone tells us to do or is putting on us in a guilt trip, you know, like. So.
I think San Francisco, same as it has this music history, also has a history of a cult with the Satanic Church
Freedom.
and Anton LaVey, and then also, of course, the intelligence kernel of the Presidio in San Francisco, Michael Aquino, and
sexual freedom,
Sexual
musical freedom, artistic freedom,
all these
and
things.
you know, I mean, I think to some degree, people that are fearful of things that they can't control will like put a negative stamp on this stuff, but in the end it's like anyone that's got a head on their shoulders or that's artistic knows it's just about freedom, you know.